The creepy landlord starts by saying he knows she is struggling and he feels bad. He tells her he can waive her rent if she complies. But boom, his wife catches him red-handed, asking if he thought she was away and promises to deal with him later. The furious wife kicks the poor girl out anyway, giving her only one day to pack up and leave. She finds our main character and asks if he has a room, promising she will be quiet as a ghost.
Then she asks if she can pay monthly, since the listing requires a 3-month deposit up front.
He agrees, and she asks to visit. He gives her the address at 17 Sakura Lane, and when she arrives, she nervously asks if he is Mr. Liu. He confirms he is indeed the landlord. Realizing she is still shivering out in the pouring rain, he quickly invites her inside, making her take a hurried, clumsy step forward. She trips right over the threshold and immediately starts panicking, apologizing over and over. He tells her not to worry because the doorframe does not feel pain, but as he leads her in, she follows with incredibly slow, hesitant footsteps. Turning around, he sees her standing on the mat, wondering if she should remove her completely soaked canvas shoes. Telling her to just walk right in, he leads her up to the cozy third-floor room that he recently finished cleaning up, boasting the best lighting. He shows her the window looking out at a stunning cherry blossom tree, but he stops talking when he sees her eyes completely light up. A soft beam of light illuminates her face. A tiny smile creeps onto her face, but she quickly hides it, bowing her head again and quietly saying it is very nice. He lists out the rules: 1,000 rent, no pets, no overnight guests, and absolute quiet after 10 p.m., which makes her entire body visibly tense up. She nervously asks if she can pay $800 instead. He expected the haggle, offering $850 as his final price, before teasing her that he was just joking about the rules. She quickly thanks him, agreeing to the price, and he hands over the contract with the 1-month deposit terms. Her hands are literally shaking as she struggles to pull out her ID card. He takes it and notices her name is Lin Wanwan, and she is only 19 years old. Thinking her name sounds quite nice, he hears her nervously ask if she can move in today. He tells her it is fine since she barely has any luggage, handing over the keys so she can settle in. Later that night, he subconsciously cooks an extra bowl of tomato egg noodles. At this point, you already know he is low-key a softie. He carries the warm bowl of food up to the 3rd floor, standing outside her door before finally deciding to knock. When there is absolutely no response, he turns to leave, but suddenly the door cracks open and a single hand reaches out through the gap. The door slams shut, leaving him completely stunned. He finds the kitchen cleaned up completely, spotless. Underneath her clean bowl is a tiny penciled note thanking him, saying the noodles were absolutely delicious. He smiles, folding the sweet note and tucking it safely into his apron pocket. He decides to put 2 fresh eggs back into her bowl as a silent reply, and the next afternoon, he heads outside to throw away some trash. The rain has stopped, leaving a sweet scent of cherry blossoms in the air. But as he rounds the alley corner, he suddenly hears loud voices harassing Lin Wanwan. Long time no see! The bullies mock her for dropping out, asking if she is too scared to go to college after they bullied her for 3 years. She begs them to let her pass, but they mockingly demand she speak louder. When she repeats herself, they grab her sketchbook, laughing hysterically at her drawings. They call her art boring. But a second later, they violently slam her beautiful drawings onto the wet ground, throwing page after page until her hard work is completely scattered everywhere. Honestly, this part is low-key heartbreaking as she drops to the wet ground to save her art. The bullies laugh. They even demand she give them her money instead, but suddenly freeze when they hear heavy footsteps approaching. Our main character steps right into view. He walks straight up to them and stomps his foot heavily onto one of their phones, completely shattering it, making them gasp and ask who he is. He calmly announces he is her landlord, asking if they want to try bullying him instead. He tells them to never bother her again unless they want him to make their lives miserable, radiating absolute final boss energy that completely terrifies them. He picks up her dirty drawings from the ground, telling them one last time to back off. Did you hear that sound coming from down the alley? The 3 girls look totally lost, pull out their phones, and scramble away, almost knocking over a trash can. He gently tells them, hey, it is okay, stop crying. Then the kid keeps picking up his ruined art. The landlord sighs and kneels to help him. He sees a beautiful pink and purple sunset sketch. The blending colors look like a crazy aesthetic vibe. But when he picks up the final sketch, he completely freezes. This one is not a landscape. It is a drawing of a person. It is someone standing in a kitchen, frying an egg. Even though it is just a few quick pencil strokes, he instantly recognizes that it is himself. In the bottom right corner of the paper, there is another signature. This one is even tinier than the rest. He quickly flips the drawing over, pretending he did not see a thing. He just tells him it is really good and says thanks. The kid stammers out a thank you to the landlord, grabs his drawings tight against his chest, and runs off into the dark alley. The landlord watches his silhouette fade away. After a moment, he picks up the leftover scraps of paper, tosses them in the trash, and heads home. Back inside, he sits at his desk just staring blankly at his computer. On screen is some code for a freelance project he took on a few days ago. The PM has already pinged him 3 times, but he cannot fix this one line of code. His mind is totally occupied by that sketch, and it is driving him crazy. Honestly, at this point, he just decides to sleep on it. But the next morning, he does not wake up to an alarm. He gets choked awake. There is thick, dark gray smoke creeping in through the gap under his door. It is slowly filling the bedroom, and the air smells like straight charcoal. He cannot tell what is burning, but it is definitely nothing good. His instant panicked thought is that the place is on fire. He leaps out of bed, barefoot, and bolts out of his room. The living room is totally filled with smoke, pouring right out of the open kitchen door. He confronts the kid. "Are you trying to burn my house down?" he yells. "Are you literally trying to set my place on fire?" The kid stammers an apology, saying he just wanted to make breakfast to repay him because the noodles yesterday were so good. "Repay him? Or poison him?" the landlord asks. The kid panics, saying it was supposed to be pancakes, but the flour seemed a bit off. The landlord shuts off the water and turns around. The kid has flour smudged on one eyebrow and a streak of black soot running down his cheek. It goes from his eye to his chin, making him look like a messy little stray cat. The landlord cannot even stay mad and bursts out laughing. The kid freezes. It is the first time he has seen him laugh. And honestly, it is the first time the landlord finds this whole situation kinda hilarious. He asks to see his hands to check for burns. The kid insists he is fine, but the landlord tells him to stop hiding them and show him. "You call this fine?" The kid shuts up. The landlord sighs and grabs some burn ointment. He gently rubs the cream on his cold, trembling fingers and bans him from the kitchen. The kid quietly nods, but when he tries to protest, the landlord says no buts. He will cook and the kid washes dishes. The kid mentions his $8.50 rent is already incredibly cheap, but the landlord just asks if he is doing the dishes or not. Fine, the kid agrees. The landlord tells him to wait for some fried rice, but adds that the ruined pan is going on his tab. He will deduct it from next month's rent. It was $120, but he lets him off with $68. The kid quietly thanks him. The landlord scoffs, telling him he knows the $850 rent was a discount. The heavy guy upstairs begged for days. And he still had to pay $900. He tells the kid to stop smiling and go wait in the living room. The kid happily nods and thanks him. Honestly, from that day on, their dynamic completely shifts. The kitchen becomes their own little unwritten meeting spot. The landlord banned him from entering, but never said he could not hang out near the door. Every evening around 5:30, when the landlord starts prepping dinner, the kid runs down from the 3rd floor and sits on a wooden chair. They call it the supervisor's seat. He never actually steps inside, just sits there hugging his knees, watching him cook in total silence. Sometimes when the landlord turns around, their eyes meet, and the kid immediately looks away, pretending he was looking at something else. Honestly, he is a great audience. He never complains about the cooking speed or tries to backseat chef. Sometimes he will peek curiously at the spices, but he never interrupts or asks annoying questions. He knows the landlord hates being hovered over. Even when he forgets to salt the soup, the kid does not say anything directly. Instead, he just quietly slides the salt shaker closer to him. When they eat, they sit around a low wooden table in the living room. At first, the kid was super shy, burying his face in his bowl and eating in absolute silence. But gradually, things soften up. He starts looking up, and eventually he even smiles at the landlord's terrible jokes, like the time he tells him a goofy riddle. He asks him why the snake spirit died after putting on the hat her husband gave her. Because it was a snake-pressing cap. Yeah, a total dad joke. The kid actually laughs, and when the landlord calls him out for having terrible humor, the kid says it is just his expression that is funny. After dinner, washing up is a sacred rule in their house. He washes, she wipes. But honestly, he is so slow, carefully scrubbing every single bowl with perfect little soap bubbles. It literally looks like a serious chemistry experiment. Once finished, he'll look back at her like, "Can I go now?" And she always tells him to run along. He always mutters a quick thank you, then dashes upstairs before she can even reply. After a week of this, she actually starts looking forward to dinner. Maybe she's just a foodie, but one night after he heads upstairs, she's chilling on the couch scrolling through her phone. She finds his post from yesterday. He had just added her, profile pic of a cute white cat, and his only post is a photo of dinner captioned, "So happy." Not a single like or comment in sight. Honestly, it is low-key heartbreaking. She just stares at those words for the longest time. Tossing her phone aside, she stares at the ceiling. Upstairs, she can hear his soft footsteps as he paces around. The soundproofing in this old house is non-existent. A few steps upstairs and you hear everything. Usually he walks super light, like he's afraid to disturb her. But tonight, his steps are rushed, pacing back and forth repeatedly. She thinks it's weird, but brushes it off. Biggest mistake ever. Around 10 p.m., she suddenly hears a heavy thud upstairs, like a body slamming into a wall. Followed by a sharp, desperately choked back sob. No hesitation, she grabs her jacket and flies up the stairs. Pressing her ear to the door, she hears frantic, hyperventilating gasps. Someone inside is crying. "Stay away from me, please, stay away from me." It sounds exactly like a drowning person desperately fighting for air. She bangs on the door, yelling, "What are you doing in there?" With no reply, she steps back and kicks the door clean open. No lights are on inside, just the cold, harsh glow of a phone screen illuminating the ceiling. The screen is flooded with endless notification banners, and right there, he's curled up in the corner of the bed. His back is pressed against the wall, knees tucked to his chest, curled into a tiny, trembling ball. She doesn't dare touch him yet, but she knows. The problem is definitely the phone. She picks it up, and the screen is absolutely plastered with vicious, toxic hate DMs. The top message is from some account with a flashy profile pic named Strawberry Cutie, showing a massive wall of screenshots and text. It is a public call-out post telling everyone to blacklist this artist for apparently scamming 80 yuan on a profile commission. Disgusted, she locks the screen and tosses it aside, then crouches down to gently touch his shoulder. But he flinches violently. He lets out a raspy scream. She yells, "Lin Wanwan, it's me!" But he doesn't hear her. He is having a severe panic attack. She frantically tries to remember a guide she once read on how to handle this. Okay, get him to a stable, safe position. Create a secure, controlled environment. Don't leave him alone. She pulls him onto her lap at the edge of the bed, holding him close. His heart is pounding like an engine about to explode. She wraps him tightly in a blanket. "It's okay, you're safe," she whispers. "Breathe slow. Just follow me. In and out. In and out." Maybe 10 minutes pass. Or maybe half an hour. His shaking body slowly relaxes. Clenched fingers loosen. He slumps softly into her chest, like a string stretched to its absolute limit before finally letting go. Then he breaks down. No more quiet, choked back sobbing. He is flat out crying now. She just holds him. Gently patting his back, she lets him cry until his voice goes completely hoarse. Once he finally quietens down, he slowly pulls away, wiping his face, too embarrassed to meet her eyes. "Drink some water," she tells him. He takes a sip, coughs, and drinks again. He just clutches the cup, silent. She picks up his phone. Time to investigate. She goes straight to the profile of Strawberry Cutie, only 3 months old, definitely a burner. She reads through the call-out post from top to bottom. The chat screenshots are totally cropped, only showing Lin's replies, completely out of order. All critical details completely left out. She takes screenshots and exits. "Wait here," she says. She heads downstairs. Time to kick her bedroom door open. As a software engineering major, tracking IP footprints is child's play. By 2:17 a.m., she has the IP. It points directly to a university dorm room. Talk about a rookie mistake. From there, she digs deeper. Tracing the IP to another platform, she finds a brag post about getting a free avatar. A friend asks how, and this clown replies, Just claim they scammed you and demand a refund. She screenshots everything, then recovers the deleted chat logs. She compiles 21 solid pieces of evidence, zero room for excuses. By 3 a.m., she posts the entire receipts thread online and DMs the accounts that shared his lies. By 4 a.m., a big anti-scam account reposts it, and the scammer, Strawberry Cornetto, absolutely panics and starts deleting posts. But it is way too late. The post is already viral, and netizen detectives are already hunting down the culprit. With receipts this solid, the admin shares it, exposing how that toxic scammer was actually playing the victim. By 5 a.m., the scammer posts a public apology, and by 6, he finally sends back the 80 yuan he stole. Our male lead tosses his phone aside, leaning back to rub his exhausted eyes as dawn slowly breaks outside. Birds are chirping in the cherry blossom trees, and soft morning light paints golden streaks across the bedroom floor. Just then, soft footsteps echo on the stairs. Lin Wanwan walks in, eyes still swollen, and they end up staring at each other. After a long, awkward silence, she notices his dark circles and asks if he even slept at all. He just smiles and tells her everything is handled. She takes his phone, staring in complete disbelief at the 80 yuan refund screen for a long, quiet moment. Her eyes well up again, making him tease her about crying too much as she wipes her tears away. She softly asks why he went to such lengths when she is just his tenant. He just shrugs, ties on an apron, and asks if she wants egg-fried rice, totally dodging the question. Grabbing 3 eggs, he jokes it might be salty, but she whispers a quiet thank you. He tells her to let him know if she ever gets bullied again, and from that day, she slowly starts to change. The changes are tiny, but noticeable, like how she no longer hides her face in her bowl while eating. She finally stops burying her face in her bowl and even listens to his random dad jokes. She actually smiles at his dry humor before quickly hiding it behind her cup. Plus, she now dares to look him in the eye. Even if holding eye contact for over a second still ends with her accidentally knocking over her glass, she is humming while washing dishes now. Her soft melodies sound like a gentle spring breeze. One day, our landlord playfully blocks the kitchen doorway just to tease her. She immediately goes quiet, her ears turning bright red, while he just grins and tells her she has a lovely voice. Blushing hard, she squeaks out that she is finished and quickly darts past him, rushing straight up the stairs. He watches her cute, flustered retreat with a smile. Honestly, this slow burn romance is top tier. Pink petals blanket the yard like fresh snow. While he sweeps, Lin Wanwan squats down to collect the cleanest, most perfect ones. She carefully tucks them into her sketchbook, prompting him to ask what she is planning to do with them. When she says they are for bookmarks, he playfully doubts she even reads enough books to use them all. She offers to give him some, which secretly prompts him to start looking for the prettiest petals while sweeping. Sure enough, the next morning he finds a perfectly pressed, laminated cherry blossom bookmark tucked under his favorite mug. Inside the transparent film is a beautiful pink petal with a sweet handwritten note from her. It is a thank you note for the fried rice, which he carefully slips into an old coding textbook on his nightstand. By late April, while sipping a cold soda, a sudden realization hits him like a truck. Lin Wanwan has lived here for nearly 3 weeks, but she has not stepped outside the front gate even once. She is like a bird too afraid to leave her cage, so he decides to gently coax her out for a walk. After breakfast on Saturday, he hands her a shopping bag and tells her they are going grocery shopping. The local market is incredibly close and quiet at this hour, making it the perfect first step for her. Seeing her freeze at the door in fear, he bribes her with a promise of sweet roasted chestnuts. Her eyes light up, and he gently encourages her, reminding her she cannot stay hidden forever. He even tells her she can hold onto his sleeve if she gets too overwhelmed out there. After a brief hesitation, she finally takes her first step outside into the cozy, quiet little local market. The sweet old vendor greets our main character warmly, even tossing a free garlic bulb into his bag. Lin Wanwan follows closely, head low, clutching her bag and flinching behind him whenever a scooter passes by. While he bargains with the vendor, she gets distracted by a colorful pet stall nearby, totally mesmerized by the fish. She cannot take her eyes off a cute red goldfish, looking incredibly adorable as she stares. He quickly buys a pair for her, and she happily hugs the water bag with a tiny, precious smile. She whispers a thank you. On the way back, she actually takes a step forward to walk right by his side. Sure, there is still a 3-step gap, but at least she is finally done hiding behind him. That night, she puts 2 goldfish in a glass jar. When Luce brings up her clean sheets, he catches her drawing them. Her pencil scratches softly as she paints. The tails look like flowing red smoke, and she hands the finished art to him. It is not a tiny signature hidden in the corner anymore. It is her actual name, Lin Wanwan, written proud and clear. Come early May, a major publishing editor spots her art online. It is her gorgeous painting of sunset over the cherry blossoms. She had posted a drawing of a man in an apron from behind, working in the kitchen. Caption was just a single period, but it goes viral with over 3,000 shares, landing her a direct message. The editor introduces herself, raving about the artwork and asking if she would be interested in illustrating a whole book. When she reads the invite to meet in person, she literally bolts down the stairs to show him her phone. Pointing at the screen, she is so overwhelmed she cannot even speak. Lucy grabs the phone and is completely stunned too. They want to sign her for an entire picture book. She nods furiously, tears literally spilling over. Lucy is so hyped, he scoops her up and spins her around. She squeals, frantically grabbing his shoulders in shock. Her face instantly turns bright red, all the way down to her neck. He quickly sets her down, coughing awkwardly to play it cool. He promises a feast tonight, and she crushes 3 bowls of rice. But local fans know after the hype comes the struggle. They have to meet at a cafe on Wednesday, and the word meet instantly shuts her down. She skips dinner, worrying him. Luce knocks on her door until she finally opens it with red, puffy eyes. She admits she is too terrified. She is terrified of meeting them, dreading that they will think she is incompetent or that she will freeze up. Lucy sits beside her and asks if she truly wants this project. After a heavy silence, she gives a soft nod. He tells her to go for it because he will be right there. She looks up, teary-eyed, asking if he is not worried she will embarrass him. Embarrass him? No shot. He literally tells her she is the most beautiful girl he has ever seen. She is amazing at art, washes dishes like a pro, and raises goldfish fatter than an aquarium does. What is embarrassing about that? She is stunned. Luce realizes his sudden confession and quickly looks away. After 10 seconds of dead silence, she asks him about his words. She wants to know if he really thinks she is the prettiest. Our boy instantly panics. He claims she heard wrong, but she calls him out. On the big day of the meeting, Lin Wanwan steps out in a stunning dress he has never seen before. He warns her they will be late if they linger. When she rounds the corner, he is totally dazed. She asks if she looks good, and he cannot help but agree. On the crowded bus, she gets bumped and grabs his sleeve. Luce looks down at her hand. He gently pulls his sleeve away, making her think she crossed the line. But then, he wraps his hand around hers. She freezes. As the bus rolls past rows of cherry blossoms, neither of them says a word. Slowly, her tense fingers relax, and she gently squeezes his hand back. Oh, this is actually so sweet. Her palm is slightly damp from nervousness, but luckily, the meeting goes way smoother than expected. Lin Wanwan is blushing and stuttering, but the editor is incredibly sweet and patient with her. She never interrupts, gently filling in the blanks whenever Lin Wanwan gets stuck. Luce reviews every single clause of the contract. When he hands her the pen, her hand is shaking uncontrollably. He covers her hand with his, telling her not to fear because he is right here. Her shaky signature goes down, stroke by stroke. It is as neat as the note she left on day 1. Outside, under the cherry blossoms, she softly whispers that she actually did it. Standing beside her, he lights a cigarette, a habit from his old city days. In this beautiful moment, he just needed one. She looks at him and says, "Luce, thank you." It is the first time she does not call him the landlord. He puts out the cigarette and tells her that from now on, she can walk ahead and he will always have her back. If she gets tired, he will carry her. She laughs, but this time it is not just a fleeting smile. Her eyes curve into crescent moons as her long-held tears spill out into a bright laugh. An early summer breeze sweeps through. A stray petal lands on her hair. As he gently brushes it away, she leans forward, resting her head against his chest. It is incredibly gentle, yet his heart starts racing so loud it drowns out the wind. She quickly steps back and bolts. She runs a few steps, then stops to look back, reminding him about dinner. She yells that she wants sweet and sour ribs and immediately bolts, leaving him standing there alone in the summer twilight, frozen like a statue, just rubbing his cheek. Oh man, he is low-key falling in love, but the next day, worst possible timing. Yep, it is those 3 toxic girls again. They are leaning against a telephone pole like a bunch of moldy expired snacks, but the exact second they spot our boy walking out, they freeze up. Immediately, they pretend to scroll on their phones. But after he walks about 10 steps away, he overhears them whispering behind his back. They whisper, asking if she really lives here. Later, he's out delivering packages. It is pouring, a brutal storm beating like 10,000 drums. Half soaked, he splashes through puddles on his way back, but at the alley, he spots 3 suspicious shadows standing right outside his courtyard gate. They push the gate and walk inside. Our boy closes his broken umbrella, taps it on the ground, and follows them. They are standing in the middle of the yard, staring up. The red-haired ringleader looks up and starts shouting for Lin Wanwan. She yells for her to come down and chat. On the 3rd floor, the curtain twitches. Wanwan's shadow freezes in terror, then shrinks back. Red Hair scoffs. She yells that Wanwan is being fake and that they are supposed to be sisters. She yells that they came all this way. Did she forget her friends just because she got a boyfriend? He props his umbrella against the wall, cracks his knuckles, and walks over. Who are you looking for? They act smug, telling him to mind his own business. But our boy fires back. Last time in the alley, you ruined her stuff. What now? Red Hair lies, claiming it was a misunderstanding and they were high school besties who loved hanging out. She keeps screaming for Wanwan to come out. She demands Wanwan confirm their friendship. But suddenly, the 3rd floor light goes completely dark. Red Hair gets choked up and whips around to glare at him. He asks if a friend would literally shut the lights off, leave. Red Hair sneers, assuming he is the boyfriend. Our boy proudly owns it, warns them to back off. Red Hair just finds it hilarious. She tells her crew to pack it up, mocking that Wanwan has a knight in shining armor now, scoffing at his bad taste. She warns him she is infamous at school, but our boy, he cuts her off, tells him to beat it. Just then, Wanwan finally steps out, nervously stammering that she already called the cops. She warns them that the police are coming, but Red Hair just mocks her, asking if she's too good for them now that she hooked a rich guy. They demand she come down, but Wanwan cries out that they bullied her for 3 straight years and still won't leave her alone. Hearing that, our boy immediately grabs a broom from the corner. Red Hair smugly goads him, daring him to swing so she can sue him for assault. She threatens to extort him, but he completely shuts her down, asking if she's brain dead because this is trespassing and he has every right to defend his property. Plus, no cameras in this huge yard? Yeah, right. That shuts them up. Red Hair and her crew quickly bolt out of the courtyard, while our boy watches them run off. He calls out to watch their step, warning them he'll call the cops next time. Up on the 3rd floor, Wanwan finally lets out a massive sigh of relief. He tells her to close the window before she catches a cold. When she doesn't budge, he sighs and heads inside, hearing frantic footsteps rushing down the stairs. She ran all the way down barefoot from the 3rd floor. Before he can even react, she throws herself into his arms so hard it knocks him back half a step. She clings for dear life. Her knuckles dig right into his back through his wet shirt. She whispers thanks for claiming to be her boyfriend. Our boy gently strokes her damp hair, taking a deep breath to calm his racing heart before he decides to speak up seriously. He tells her he meant it. She stammers, asking if he just said it to get rid of him. She says she won't take it seriously, so he doesn't have to pretend. But he cuts her off, confessing his feelings. He asks how she feels, and she shyly brings up how he called her the prettiest girl he'd ever seen back in the kitchen. He begs her to stop. No chance. She is not letting him off that easy. She finally confesses that she likes him too. Now, as her official boyfriend, he can protect her with zero hesitation.